Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. It is Tuesday, August 5th, and Ken Griffey Jr. drops later today. Shocker! It's Madden Week, and as Nutsy pointed out in shorts recently, whenever it's Madden Week, SDS likes to just smash the Ken Griffey Jr. button to get people interested. So Griffey's coming. That'll be fun. Maybe you'll see him on the channel later this week, but that's not what this video is about. The show, the podcast, every week since its inception, talks about a lot of stuff. Talks about some of the more opinion-focused things of MLB The Show. And today, that's what we're going to dive into. You guys, longtime listeners or viewers, know I give my unfiltered opinions, good and bad. So today, we're going to talk about, is this game even good? There's a lot of opinions on that. And so it's going to be interesting to talk about. All right, so if you're here for the first time, tag along. If you like it, hit the like button. If you love it, subscribe or do both anyway. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So I went into this recording today not really super knowing what to talk about. And I don't like going in with absolutely zero plan. But after some thinking, I had a great idea. Well, what I think is a great idea. On Sunday, sorry, I was looking at dates. On Sunday, your friend Kyle tweeted a rather large tweet and then followed it with another tweet. And it's going to provide the basis for this episode. Not that he's listening, but shout out to your friend Kyle for what you do for the MLB The Show community. And I think the best place is just to read his comment to start. If you're not on Twitter or if you don't follow him, you don't even know this comment exists. So we're going to start there. I'm going to read the whole thing in full. It is long. Don't worry, we'll get through it. And then I'll kind of just give you where I stand. So, it starts with big old bold text. My thoughts on MLB The Show 25. This is again from Kyle, not from me. I'm reading directly. It's insane how much fun I've had playing MLB lately. Obviously, the gameplay sucks some games, especially at certain stadiums due to the elevation nerf, but this is probably the most well-rounded MLB The Show we've ever gotten. The game still feels new to me because of the power creep being back and the insane content we've gotten. 99s came out at the absolute perfect time, and it didn't feel too brutal going through the power creep up until this point. Last year, the game was dead by the All-Star break. It finally feels like the good old days where people are still super involved, and now we have a competitive mode in Weekend Classic. Stream and YouTube numbers are through the roof. Yes, they are. Thank you. Still this far into the game cycle. Also, hats off to SDS and MLB The Show for recognizing the flaws of GOAT difficulty and vaulting it before it got out of hand. We've got more to go here. Don't worry, there's more to come. In order for this game to be amazing, a few things need to be worked on. Top players need to be able to match up with each other more frequently. Sidebar here, now it's me coming in. This is a 1% of the 1% thing he's about to talk about, but still has merit. So, back into it. Right now, it appears there's a week-long cooldown period where top players can only match up with each other once a week. This makes it impossible for them to find games. That can't happen. Nobody should go hours a day without being able to find a game. Next bullet point. The elevation nerf from last year to this year was super extreme. If a player wants to play at a juice stadium where balls fly, they should have the option. Just as people should have the option to pick a dead park like Ship It. It's not a dead park. Disagree there. We'll get into it. If that's what they prefer. Allow people to customize the elevations of their created stadiums again. The created stadiums are one of the best additions ever, but it's wasted potential when people can't use them how they want. Either make Weekend Classic a little shorter, or make the games count toward lifetime record. It's weird playing a bunch of games that don't really matter unless you're done with your initial 6. Overall, I'm ecstatic where the game is at. Last year, I truly thought another year of sets and seasons would permanently ruin the game. To see where everything is at right now is amazing. We've still got work to do, but we're trending. And then the quick addendum to his tweet, it's much shorter. When I complain, people think I'm just trying to be negative. When I praise something, people think I'm selling out. Maybe I'm just 100% transparent with my followers, whether it's positive or negative. It's pretty simple. Game bad, I say bad. Game good, I say good. So, I would like to first start out by saying that's the exact philosophy I have with how I do all of my content. If the game is shit, I say it is shit. If the game is not shit, I say the game is not shit. And I think longtime followers, subscribers, knowers of my content and my channel recognize that and appreciate that. And I hope that's why they come back to this channel. But I want to kind of go point by point here and talk about everything he said. Also, for what it's worth, I mean, you could just search your friend Kyle to follow him, but he is at yourfriendkyle_ on Twitter /X, whatever the hell you call it. So go follow him if you don't. I mean, I'm assuming you do because he's got 81,500 followers. So what's the big, bold claim here, right? The big, bold, not claim, opinion. The big, bold opinion here is that this is maybe the best MLB The Show, or maybe the most well-rounded MLB The Show we've ever gotten. That is bold. It is very bold. And there are a lot of layered opinions to this. If you're someone like Kyle, and I'm not saying this negatively, but if you're someone like Kyle, who really just plays ranked, you play Diamond Dynasty, you play ranked. Maybe in the past he played a little BR. I don't think a ton. Probably just as a stub-making method, if that at all. He's a ranked guy. For ranked this year, MLB The Show is excellent. I'm not necessarily talking about the gameplay snafus. Like he said, gameplay is a little rocky. But in terms of content model, content progression, content frequency, weekend classic, and how ranked lineups all seem to be unique, this is a great year to play ranked seasons. It just is. It is, I guess it's an opinion, but I think it's a fact. It is a really great year to be a ranked seasons person. What is it not a great year for? If you're a BR grinder, it is a shit year for you. If you're an events grinder, it's a shit year for you. So that's where the nuance and the layers come into play here. I have had a lot of fun playing MLB The Show this year. A lot of fun. Drastic improvement from the last 2 years. Drastic. Like night and day difference. There are things that I don't like about Diamond Dynasty this year. And they have also taken away from my experience. I miss playing events, and everyone's there just saying, oh, so just effing go jump into events then. There is no real reason to be playing events right now, ever, this year, at all. You want to grind the multiplayer program? Great, but there is no unique reward. There is no benefit. I feel like, again, and this is anecdotal, and I don't know if anyone else can corroborate this, but I feel strongly about this. The server connection in events and BR is significantly worse than the server connection for ranked play. I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know if that is intentional. I don't know if I'm making it up in my head, but every event game and every BR game feels like I am playing in a river of pudding. Whereas a higher percentage of my ranked games have felt really smooth. Never going to be perfect, and it isn't perfect, but better, right? So the 3-inning mode experience of MLB The Show 25 is really, really bad. And if those are the modes you like to play traditionally, you are probably finding MLB The Show 25 to not be hitting the mark for you to its fullest potential. But if you're like Kyle, or if you're, let's just be honest, this is where we can point to content creators and say, you have a different experience than us. If you're a content creator, this is a great game for you. Let's just call a spade a spade. There's new content coming out everywhere. The Weekend Classic has created lanes for content. The Power Creep has viewers longer engaged. It's just true. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just true. So from that vantage point, I just want to cover the whole thing with the there is no umbrella, this is the best game ever. It depends on your playing experience. And if we want to completely take a different spin for the offline crowd, I don't even know what the best MLB The Show ever was for the offline crowd, for our franchise friends, for our Road to the Show friends. They added a bunch of shit to Road to the Show this year, but I think it amounts to like 90 minutes of new content. So I don't even know if Road to the Show are people happy this year? I don't know. Franchise? You tell me. I don't know. And that's, I just don't have the knowledge myself. But I will say this. Kyle, even though he is not like, you can have your own opinion on this. That's fine. I'm not going to share my opinion. Kyle does not have a relationship with SDS right now. Make of that what it is. But for someone of his following, who is one of the top 1, 2, 3 creators in the MLB The Show community, to praise the game to this level, that is an encouraging sign. We should never take anybody's opinion as gospel, right? Like, we're all supposed to form our own opinions on everything. You can use someone else's opinion to inform your own to some degree. You have some more background, or you use that as a springboard to do more research, whatever. Kyle has been very outspoken about how poor the game has been. So it's grabbed his attention. That's cool. Let's go on to his next point, now that we've covered the fact that everybody's going to enjoy this game differently. The power creep being back, 99s came at an absolutely perfect time. I would tend to agree. I feel like we went really fast from like 96 to 99. The power creep felt like a really intentional path until we got to 96. And then it was just like boom, 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 boom. 99s everywhere. Right around the All-Star game. Generally where people begin to lose attention. Ish. I think the content flow and pace has been incredible. There's still a little, the grinds are still a little boring. I've advocated for some longer grinds, and we have gotten some longer grinds, so I'm not poo-pooing that. I think the grind structure and method just needs to be completely revamped. I don't know what it should look like, how it should look. That's not my job. If I come up with something, I'll share it. I just think it's time for a new way to grind for cards. It's been the same type of grinding for years, where we just beat the brains of the CPU into the pavement. Or it's just, here's a bunch of moments that'll frustrate you. Like, there's got to be some sort of other way to do this. That's all I'm advocating for. But did 99s come at the perfect time? I think so. Last year, people stopped playing MLB The Show 24 pretty quickly because the game stunk, the content stunk, and College Football 25 came out. I don't think it's ever fair to attribute one game's player base drop to another game's release. I don't think that's fair, because I think a lot of people play games seasonally anyway. It's us, the Looney Tunes in this chair, who know life one game exclusively. But College Football 25 definitely sapped a lot of the interest away. I've heard mixed reviews on College Football 26. I'm not going to get into that. I don't own it. I didn't buy it. Neither here nor there. But all of this is to say, 99's great time. YouTube numbers are through the roof this far into the game cycle. He also mentioned streaming. I don't stream anymore. At least not right now. I don't know. Maybe we'll revisit it later. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, 4 months in a row, my YouTube numbers are killer. For my size channel. Thank you. First of all, to all of you. Thank you, sincerely. But it's a good sign. And I'm not even saying about lining the pockets of creators. I'm not even saying about, creator this, creator that. Just remove the faces of the creators, remove the names of the creators, remove those things, and just think about this. If YouTube numbers are continuing to stay relatively level in August of a game that came out in March, that is a good sign about the health of a game. That doesn't mean everybody believes the same thing. Everyone still could have their own opinions. Some people could still dislike it, whatever. But just thinking about it logically, if viewership is pretty level, obviously it has gone down a little bit since March. That's inevitable. But if it's pretty level for this part of the calendar year, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'll agree with them on that as well. Or I'll support that as well. Hats off to SDS and MLB The Show for recognizing the flaws of GOAT difficulty and taking it away before it got out of hand. Talking about online play. Yeah, we talked about the removal of GOAT, and it became a very controversial episode for some reason. people who've never played on GOAT before complaining about people wanting GOAT removed. I don't know. Listen, GOAT was an experiment. GOAT didn't work for online play. SDS has experimented with other stuff before and waited too long to pull the plug, since seasons. So they acted quickly and said, you know what? We've tried long runways for experimentation. We're done with long runways. We gave it whatever it was, 3 months, April, May, June, 3.5 months. Didn't work the way we wanted it. Let's just rip it out of the game. Will it come back? That we don't know. That's never been confirmed. I could see a world where it comes back in a future title and it's fine-tuned and they make the necessary changes to make it work better. But that's good on them. That's good on them. They waved the white flag. They were not too proud to do it. They said, you guys play the game. You guys know how it feels. We'll just take it out for now. I like that. That's a good thing. So shout out. Now to some of his bullet points. Top players need to be able to match up with each other more frequently. Like I said, this is a 1% of the 1% issue, similar to the GOAT conversation. I have no reason to disagree with that. I do think having people wait in long queue times is just bad for the game. It's boring. It leads to people actually playing less. And if, you go through 3-4 days straight of really, really long queue times, you might not even fire it up on that 5th day because it's not worth your time. I was always of the opinion that the cooldowns were 24 hours. I could be totally wrong on that. I don't know why I thought 24. It might be a week. I don't know. I do think 24 hours is an appropriate cooldown time because I don't want to match up with the same person over and over again. But a week just seems too much. And now here we get into a couple disagreements here, and respectful disagreements. The elevation nerf from last year to this year was super extreme. People should be able to play at whatever elevation they want. This is where I disagree. Should people have stadium options? Yes. Should stadium creator be better? Yes. Yes. All in agreement. Yes. Ranked battle royale and events, even though they stink this year, but still, are supposed to be competitive environments. There should be some level of control of how zany things can get. That I know is an unpopular opinion. I am aware of it. I'm not advocating for less fun. He said ship it is what did he say, a dead stadium? A dead park? Ship it's just fine. I mean, I don't know. Listen, a lot of content creators want the scores to be high. We combined for 47 runs on Legend. I don't give a shit about that. And that's not a knock at Kyle. It's not a knock at anybody else who does it. It's their content. They could do with it whatever they like. And people like it. And that's fine. Good for them. I just don't give a silly shit about it. I'd rather play, and this is not me advocating for pitching or low scoring, but I'm happy posting a really well-played 6-4 game. And I can be proud about that. I don't need the score to be 21-18. I also find playing at those high elevation, shit little park stadiums to be highly frustrating. I don't play any video game to purposefully be frustrated. I'm okay with difficult. Frustration tied to difficulty, very different than frustration tied to bullshit. So very different. Different categories entirely. I was happy with the decision to nerf stadiums. You want to argue they nerfed them too extreme? We can have that conversation, I suppose. Maybe they can nerf it 50% of what the nerf was, and so it's still nerfed, but not as... we can have that conversation for sure. I just don't buy the everybody wants to hit a home run on every swing conversation. I fundamentally disagree with that, and it's not because I want realism. I don't care about realism. I don't play Diamond Dynasty for a realistic experience. I just don't. I do sometimes want it to feel a little bit like a baseball game and not just a home run derby. So that's just my opinion. Again, my opinion, his opinion, your opinion. What is it? Next thing. Make Weekend Classic a little shorter or make the games count towards lifetime record. It's weird playing a bunch of games that don't matter. I don't really care about that. I might be missing the point, and if I am, please tell me. I don't see why that's an issue. And again, this is not critical of Kyle in any way. Zero way. I am failing to understand why he is upset about that. Because I want to understand. Technically, you're not playing for nothing after 6 games. Like, you're fighting for leaderboard position, though I totally get that the leaderboard payouts, if you want to call them that, are not the best. They're fine. I see no problem with that. If you want more games to count, sure. But like, whatever. Overall, I'm ecstatic where the game is at. Last year, I truly thought another year of sets and seasons would permanently ruin this game. Yes, hands down, agree with that. And then just to circle back, when I complain, people think I'm trying to be negative. When I praise something, people think I'm selling out. Maybe I'm just 100% transparent. The title of my autobiography. I mean, the only way criticism can be taken seriously is if it comes from a place of consistency. I will consistently call out the good just as much as I'll consistently call out the bad. So that means when I do call out the bad, the people who hear it know I'm being serious. If everything that happens in this game is just a boilerplate, this sucks, you suck, it sucks, you ain't getting nowhere. That's how life works. The things Kyle didn't address in here, I guess he vaguely addressed it with like, yeah, gameplay could be a little funny. Gameplay could be a little funny, for sure. And that is its own conversation, and people have every right to question the gameplay. There is RNG like we've never seen. There are pinpoint issues. I hate the par region. I think it's remarkably dumb. If I throw a perfect pitch, it should go where I ask it to go. Or par's just got to be much smaller. I mean, listen, come on. So many fluke hits, no touchy home runs. People are beating people when they've been outswung by 1,000,000. Foul balls, check swings, the pitches that are strikes that aren't strikes. Like, we can go on and on and on. Ultimately, I think a lot of it comes down to 2 things. Inconsistent connections across the board. There is not enough server strength on MLB The Show. I don't know how to measure that. I don't know what the correct amount of server strength is, so don't ask. I'm just offering my opinion. There ain't enough strength in the servers. Secondly, I think the reason this hitting engine is so effing weird, there are too many things going on. There are too many relationshiping. How does contact get affected by hits per 9? How does power hitter get impacted by this? Balanced hitter, push hitter, neutral, balanced hitter. I'm saying things, I'm repeating things, I know. How does outlier do this? How does elevation factor in? How does swing timing factor in? How do the quirks happen? Like, there are just too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's making everything just a gobbledygook mess. Too many things happening. Cal Raleigh, and we're just using him because he's on my screen. It could be anybody. It could be Oswald Peraza. His contact is directly influenced by the hit per 9. There's also a K per 9 factor. There's also a vision rating that we didn't even talk about. Vision is this whole separate piece of shit. There are just too many factors. Then you got quirks. If it's a breaking ball, that now adds another layer to the whole thing. If there's less than 2 outs and a runner on third, there's more RNG to play with. Then there's also, I don't think there's not dynamic difficulty. What's it called? Comeback logic. I might have been on the right track. I don't believe in comeback logic in this game. I don't think it exists. What I do think comes into play is how all these hitters or pitchers have some sort of quirk that says, when you're trailing, this happens. I'd like to know how it happens. I'd like to know what it does. Does it give you an exit velocity boost? Sure seems like it. Does it make the opposing team all scared and nervous and they make more errors? It seems like it too. There are too many factors influencing hitting specifically. I think we just gotta strip some shit away. I don't know what. I don't know how. That's not my job. All I'm here is to say what my experience is and what my theories are. So this became very much a very ranty episode. And ultimately, we haven't even answered the question yet. Kyle thinks this might be the best MLB The Show, or most, again, I shouldn't say the best, the most well-rounded, those are his exact words, MLB The Show ever. I could put it in my top 3. It's safely top 5, probably safely top 3. I got to feel out the rest of the year before I can really make that final statement. Every year, if you guys don't know, one of the last episodes of the show, the podcast, every game cycle is a final review of the previous game. You could review a game when it first comes out, but you haven't given the game a chance to grow. I like to review it at the very end of the year. So I will do that with this game, for sure. Am I happy with MLB The Show 25? For sure. Do I like the content? Yes. Do I think some of that is just because we're coming off 2 of the shittiest games in the game's history? Yes. Obviously, yes. The lack of purpose behind events really bugs me because I love events. You guys could look at the event leaderboards from the last couple years. I used to crush events. All I would play was events. I loved events. BR. I have gone flawless at least once and mostly multiple times in every game since 22, maybe 21. I haven't gone flawless yet this year because I haven't played enough BR. I don't care. I don't like it. The games feel like shit. The RNG is terrible, and the rewards stink. As good as the content's been, they still can't figure out BR rewards, World Series rewards. Still can't. I don't get it. The best rewards are a Weekend Classic, which is, whatever. But everything else stinks. Right now, I'm probably at a solid B for MLB The Show 25. And I think that's a good grade. I think that's fair. I mean, is it hovering towards a B+? It's closer to a B+ than it is a B-. But it is a B. I need to see how the rest of the year shakes out. I'm curious where they go from here. They've got decisions to make. I need events in BR to mean something. The inclusion of Diamond Quest is awesome. But I need something in these 3-inning game modes. Something. Again, from Kyle's experience or from your experience, if you're a big-time ranked player, this is a good game for you. Gameplay inconsistencies notwithstanding. But it's unfair to just disregard our 3-inning game mode friends because they may not be enjoying this game as much. And that stinks. So, again, if it already hasn't been made clear enough as we close here, none of what we just talked about is a pot shot at Kyle. There's no reason. We just reacted to his tweet because it was a very, I like the tweet a lot. It was very thoughtful. It was nuanced. It was positive, negative. It was dispelling the people who only think he's negative about it. It was a very well-crafted review. We just took it piece by piece here, what we agreed with, what we disagreed with. And none of the disagreement is in a malicious way. It was just, this is what we do. You have an opinion, I have an opinion. So we talk about it. Yeah. So, big overarching theme here. Is this one of the best MLB The Show is this one of the best MLB The Show games ever? Excuse me. What do you think? Put it in the comments. We have very strong opinions on this, and I know we have very strong opinions on this. Let's just be kind to one another. That's all I ask. All right? That has been this episode of the show, the podcast. More content coming this week. You will see a Clay Buchholz How to Pitch With video. You will see an in-game manager on Friday that features Ken Griffey Jr., I think. I don't really know where to put him at this moment. We'll figure it out. All right? Content coming. Thank you guys for making it to the end. Love you all. See you next time.